Greetings, everyone. I hope you are okay. It's the evening of the 25th of June 2025. It's getting to month end. Some of you have been paid today. That's great. That is those that are working. Uh, we have been receiving lots of questions, but we keep on addressing this question, the issue of waiver expiring on the 25th. We write messages, we circulate, we do videos, we circulate, but it appears other people are getting confused. It is the evening of the 25th of June. In the morning of the 26th of June, 2025, you will still be able to apply for your waiver. So the waiver application is open. You apply online as you have been applying before. So there are no changes. So please do apply for your waiver if you are a holder of a ZTP and then you move to other mainstream visas. We said that because the Constitutional Court upheld the judgment of the Gauteng High Court, North Gauteng High Court, the minister he has not consulted as we know, as far as we interact with the holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permit. No one has said has been consulted by the minister in terms of the impact the decision not to extend the ZEP is going to have. So we expect that that is still going to happen. And remember, we've been saying that because there's an immigration advisory board that is now in place, which amongst others will advise the minister on what to do with the Zimbabwe exemption permits, holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permits. But let us be realistic. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we need to prepare ourselves. In politics, we always say there is plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. You go up to Z. So you must have a plan B. Let's assume you have applied for your waiver. Your waiver is out. You have applied for a general work visa. Yesterday, someone was calling me, was excited that his general work visa is out. They gave him 4 years. Right. So let's assume everyone or the majority of the ZTP holders, they get granted the general work visa. I think we did address this question last year or so. After 4 years, it is not going to be automatic that the waiver is going to be granted, or you are going to be given a waiver so that you are able to renew. We do not think it is going to be possible for the following reasons. There are people whose profession at some point was under critical skills. When the critical skills list was reviewed, those professions were removed because the South African government said they have the skill. They have South Africans who have that skill. So there's no need to bring anyone from outside. So such individuals have been rejected. Right? Now, here is the tricky part, which I'm saying we must have plan B. Here's the tricky part. You work as an Uber driver. You are a ZTP holder. You have moved to a general work visa. You have been granted a 4-year general work visa. After 4 years, there will be no waiver to assist you to renew. Right? Just as someone who had a critical skills visa and the profession was removed from the list and is now been rejected. So why would a government reject, say, a diesel mechanic as an example, but accept an Uber drive just because they were on ZTP? So this is why I'm saying if you have been granted a general work visa for 4 years, you need to begin to plan your life. To say there's a possibility that this permit, which have been granted, will not be renewed. If it is not going to be renewed, what do I do? We need to plan now. If it means you now have to wind up your activities in South Africa, use the 4 years either to study, to get to critical skills. If you know that in the 4 years you can, even if you start, you will not get to the critical skills, you need to start to think about relocating. That's plan B. You need to think to say, okay, I bought a residential stand in my hometown, or I've got a stand in my village. You need to start to construct your own house, your own home, so that when you return, you are not a burden to those that are back in Zimbabwe. If you are of my age, you need to start to think about drilling maybe a borehole. If you're a rural person like myself, drilling a borehole, prepare yourself for the life after the general work visa, because it's not going to be permanent. That's what we are trying to communicate. That yes, the waiver now, even if you have someone writes here says has been waiting for 2 years, the waiver is not out, it is going to come out. Just need to be patient. It is going to come out. You apply for a general work visa, chances are high that you are going to be granted. But what is not certain is what will happen after 4 years. That's what I'm saying. One has to think deep, begin to plan, to say, okay, I've been given 4 years. Let me use my 4 years to plan for the future outside South Africa. Part of that planning, I know, and it's most of you, when we talk politics, you don't follow. Part of the planning must involve getting yourself involved into the politics of Zimbabwe. That's part of the planning. How to get involved? Make sure you're a registered voter. Because, for instance, right, you get issued with your 4-year visa. This is 2025. Gets granted, say, September 2025, and expires September 2029. Elections, say, if they happen in 2028 or 2030, whatever the case might be. Let's assume the elections happen in 2028. You'll be left with a year in South Africa. You need to be part of the people that will cast their votes and contribute in the resolution of the political crisis in Zimbabwe. So that when you then go back in 2029, after the expire of your general work visa, at least there will be a new government, right? Or even if there is not a new government, at least in your locality, there will be a councillor that you will have elected. There's a member of parliament that you'll have elected because you have contributed. So I know that people are saying, Mabena, 4 years is far. But listen, the decision not to extend, not to continue the ZEP was taken 4 years ago. Just think this way. Let's assume in November 2021, Cabinet would have said, we are going to extend for the last time the ZEP. They closed down as they used to do. Remember that there was this ZP, they closed it down, then there was ZSP. Assuming in 2017, in 2021, they took a decision to close down ZEP and open another special permit in another name, but still under the category of special permits. And they said it was for the last time, first for the last time. It would have meant that by end of this December, 31st December 2025, every person who has a special permit and cannot move to other visas would have gone home, right? But you have now moved from a special permit, you have been assisted with a waiver, you now have your general work visa or general business visa. You must then begin to say, there is a possibility that in 2029, I will not be able to renew this general work visa because when you renew in 2029, if yours, I'm just using as an example, if yours will expire in 2029, you then have to meet the requirements just like everyone else who applies for a general work visa. If you are lucky, are granted a 5-year general work visa, it is not automatic that after 5 years you will then apply for a permanent residence. It is not automatic. I remember in 2017, I was talking to one comrade. I think at the time he was the chairperson of the portfolio committee on Home Affairs. So we met at the South African Communist Party Congress. I think it was 2017. So I was talking to this comrade, comrade chairman, because you chair the portfolio committee in parliament. It was ZSP was expiring that year in 2017. So I was saying, comrade, so how are you going to deal with the people on special permits? So we discussed, as you know, then it was. But then we went beyond, because we remember there were people on quota visa, other general payments that were there. What the comrade said, I can't remember his name, but you can Google, I think he was chairperson in 2017 of the portfolio committee. So he said to me, he said, Comrade Mapen, one of the things that South Africa is trying to do, he said to me, South Africa wants to make it difficult for foreigners to apply for a permanent residence. I said, oh, why? He said, if you came to South Africa, you have a skill. You are a mathematics teacher, right? You have the skill. You are granted a visa to teach for 5 years in a South African school. He was saying to me, after 5 years, you will have groomed a South African that would then take over from you. When we then say, thank you so much, you did assist us, here's your package, now you can go back home. That's what he said. He said, we are not chasing you, but because when we grant you a 5-year visa, we are doing this with the expectation that after 5 years, a South African would be able to do the job that you have assisted in impacting your skill to that person, right? And then you are going to be thanked and given your package, your benefits, wara wara, you then relocate back to your country of origin. I'm making this point trying to say it is not going to be automatic that you are going to be granted a permanent residence once you are a holder of a general work visa. I know I'm now scaring all of you, but I'm simply saying, I'm now concluding, I'm simply saying we should not relax. You have been granted your general work visa. You work in the retail, you work in the hospitality industry, you work as a domestic worker, you work as a teacher. You should not relax. Plan. That's the message to you. You also know that those that are educators, you know that if you get to my age, I'll be celebrating my birthday, by the way, on the 3rd of July. So if you get to my age, if you're an educator, the South African Council for Educators will not grant you their certificate. They are now trying not to grant people that migrants or foreigners that are 50 and above, because they believe that South Africa is producing every year more teachers. And companies now prefer to employ young people. So in terms of dealing with the employment of young people, so they would want to get to employ a 22-year-old who has just graduated, 22-year-old, 23-year-old, as opposed to granting a 52-year-old SASE. That's the challenge that is there. So let's plan if you're a holder of a ZEP, so that after 4 years, you don't have problems. But for now, continue applying for a waiver if you are on ZEP. If it is not yet out, just be patient, wait. Then apply for a general work visa so that by the deadline of the 28th of November 2025, you have applied. Unless, of course, between now and then, the minister will then make a different announcement. Otherwise, thank you so much. Comrade Rachel Arthur says, um, you say we're on dreamland, but at least Comrade Rachel Arthur, you must appreciate, right? We must appreciate that what we are doing in this platform is to give people correct information, as I did. That a holder of a ZEP, when they get granted a waiver, get granted a general work visa, right? There's no guarantee that there will be that general work visa will be renewed after 4 years. There is no guarantee. It's not there. This is why I was saying people must begin to say, what do I do after 4 years? Whether you go prepare your fields, you drill your borehole, you complete the construction of your house, whatever you want to do, or you buy your own combi, you do a tax in Zimbabwe, or you want to open a shop, you need to plan. That's basically what I'm saying. Otherwise, comrades, good night. We'll continue talking. Please, if you are new, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video. Goodbye.